Hello friends, hello visitors on YouTube here with us on the Planeo channel. My name is David Fuchs, and today we're going to talk about how we can renovate this space, this apartment. It looks very nice here as well. The doors are all out already. Renovating. We want to install a new floor here, and as you can see very well, tiles were used, and it's a rental apartment, and the new tenant wants to have new flooring installed. What can I do so that when I move out again, the old tiles or the old can be restored to its original condition, but at the same time somehow a new floor covering that can be laid as a system over tiles? That's what this video is about, and we will of course share tips and tricks with you. Our suggestion, our tip is to lay over these existing tiles, which are already, let's say, about 20 years old. It's not trendy anymore. The work is done, and you can see in this gray tone it doesn't fit anymore. You want something nice, pleasant, modern here? Maybe depending on how you want to furnish or equip it, our suggestion is vinyl flooring, and of course that has its own considerations. It requires that, what can I put on top of that now? We have a fairly wide joint pattern here. The joints are relatively high. What kind of vinyl can I use now? If you switch to click vinyl as full vinyl, then there are of course different thicknesses, 3.2, 4.5 or 5 millimeters. Of course you can also work with that. Laying it on top has the disadvantage, in quotes, that if the joints are too wide, it will push through. That means you'll get a joint pattern pushed up into the surface. You then lay down a footfall sound insulation, but in the long run, that can't be prevented. That would be one option as a bend variant. I wouldn't recommend that in this case, but you have the option to fill the surfaces, which is usually not the case in a rental apartment. You can indeed also very well use glue-down vinyl, but here the basic requirement is to fill the entire surface. It's actually not so optimal in the glue-down option in a rental if you're allowed to. Great. Just put in the effort, do the filling, put the leveling compound over it, then you can also glue. Of course, you need to check that for yourself accordingly. I would suggest you take a multi-layer here. So vinyl flooring with a multi-layer structure, that's called multi-layer. You can also find it in our shop. It's also strongly represented in the market. They come in different variants with an HDF core, middle layer, like back then with laminate. And then you put a footfall sound insulation underneath, and on top is the vinyl layer. You can use that very well on these surfaces. But now we come to the point that this type adds quite a bit of height. That means we have a build height of about 10 to 12 millimeters here. What do you need to check? Is possible? Will it work later with the windows to the terrace area? Can I still open them? Or if they still have doors inside, thank God we customers can now remove them. You can later just lay it down, and if you still have doors in there, the build height is often too high. For this reason, I now recommend the multi-layer from our SLY system, which is already equipped with a footfall sound insulation and is very dimensionally stable. We can put the whole thing beautifully on top of these tiles, even with this joint pattern. And later, you can also lay it straight from the living room into the hallway area. We are now going to choose a type of decor. Herringbone patterns are also available in tiles in traditional styles and sizes like a plank. And we would like to present to you how you can set the whole thing up. Before we just start with the installation, I want to emphasize once again how important it is to really check everything. Even if you already have tile layers, you should still check the substrate for levelness. So use a level, take a long one, at least 2 meters, and check the room. Note down the areas that have too much unevenness. That means anything that goes over 3 millimeters in a meter. Make a mark and possibly talk to the landlord. And if you are a homeowner, this area needs to be leveled, no matter if you're gluing, no matter if you choose a click variant, whether it's a multi-layer, whether you choose parquet, it doesn't matter at all. The same tolerance applies everywhere. This also has to do with the warranty later on, especially in the edge or click variant areas. It's very important. Check everything. Walk through the areas. If you have done this and the waviness is accordingly all right, then you should also know what kind of screed you are dealing with. Or is there a floor heating system from below? Is it a water-based underfloor heating system or an electric one? With an electric one, I have to be honest, most vinyl manufacturers or even floor covering manufacturers do not freely allow their products. So you should also check how old it is. What is the entire heating up speed? These are all things you should check beforehand. Get in touch with us. Of course, we also help with further advice once you've done all that. You've nicely cleaned the substrate, then you can also start with the installation. And that's what we want to do now. We're now going into the Sly installation. Herringbone, this is something very special here. We're not trying to advertise it right now. For the herringbone, just take a look at whether you like it, the decor. But we want to show you this multi-layer structure, this 7 millimeters here, that it's ideal, especially with the tiles, also with the joint pattern, so that you end up with a really great result. And I'm really curious to see how the whole processing of the material will turn out later. For the herringbone installation, we first determine the center of the room. From there, we make a mark in both directions at 4.2 centimeters and pull this work, looking at the opposite wall. Please also read the installation instructions from the package. Following this principle, all the planks will be laid out further. It's important when laying the flooring that you work from several packages to mix the colors. But be careful, do not swap the A and B planks in the process. Not definitely marked on the back with gray or black. Take your time when laying the first herringbone braid. This way, you can avoid subsequent errors. The advanced click system of the Planeo floors makes the installation very easy. Even a reverse installation is no problem at all. So far we have completed the installation. You can see that the area is now closed off. You can also see very nicely here from the living room out into the hallway. We also moved the entire thing into the kitchen. And you've also noticed that we've laid it continuously. We will now separate the whole thing afterwards because that depends on the area. From the widths and sizes is just too much, especially when the sun is shining. The vinyl starts to expand from the window side. You need to separate it again in the door area. We did that afterwards in this case. What does it look like here in the kitchen area? We'll do the same in the living room. We'll show a close-up of that shortly. Just why are we separating it afterwards? That has to do with the joint pattern. That means that when we lay herringbone, we definitely wanted this very exact same structure, and the the collision of the joints, that this is in one picture, and it's very good when you lay it continuously and then separate it afterwards. Of course, you can do it differently, lay it separately, but then the joints will just meet. Not so precisely and symmetrically aligned. We are separating the whole thing here now. We'll prepare the whole thing accordingly to, say, the door. And then later simply work it in with a filler so that everything can be done without having to put any profile on it. If you seal it with a filler, such as silicone or other materials, in this case, we recommend a natural stone silicone because it has much, much less acid. But our sales team can also help you with that later. We've just beautifully laid the apartment in a wood decor, just with the multi-layer and in herringbone pattern. And we were just thinking about the renovation and the door. Take out the frames and then you'll see an old bathroom. Rental apartment. Man, what alternative could you possibly have to install a new floor in the bathroom? That's exactly it. It has to be waterproof and it has to be soapy. All these things need to withstand, not be slippery, and should be simple in terms of construction. So the flat construction should also fit here later on so that there aren't different heights. We can't work with casting dimensions here to remove the tiles in order to glue something on later. We're going to use the same material multi-layer in tile look. Here it is in a herringbone wood look. You can also find this in our shop in tile look, and now we're going to work with this decor. And we're definitely going to lay a tile look on top here in the bathroom as multi-layer vinyl flooring, fully vinyl, and of course they will take a look at that as well. With the XL tiles from Planeo Sly, do the same as with the herringbone planks. Just lock the connection from above with a rubber mallet. this is what the result looks like. And I think it turned out really well. When you think about how the apartment looked before, with the ceiling and the old doors, and with the tiles in the background, I think it turned out really great. You can also see the furniture is here now. We've been living here for a few weeks now, and the entire apartment has been renovated. That means the ceiling with drywall has been renewed, new lamps installed, and the door is new. And what really catches the eye is the Planeo vinyl flooring here with this decor. Herringbone, so this herringbone pattern where you walked over it everywhere and later also made the separation. I think that's great. In the bathroom, we also worked with tiles right over the vinyl area, on top of the old tiles, and you can see the result here. I think it's great then with the decor into the kitchen and from the hallway, not just into the bedroom, but also into this cozy, nice, pleasant living room. I think that if you look at the result beforehand, how cold a tile was and how uncomfortable that all felt, this is a really, really great, successful outcome. Especially if you're renting and say, I don't know how long I'll be here and I want to have a floor that I can possibly take up again and just lay it on top of a tile, not firmly connected. And then there's the Planeo vinyl, also here with us in this case from the Sly model. And from the Sly coalition, it's a great multi-layer. It's also very dimensionally stable, which means you can easily lay it on top of tiles, and that's exactly what the result looks like. And here too, herringbone, I think it's very successful, it's very pleasant, and the floor also brings warmth into this room. So I like it when you have questions about it. You want new decors or different decors, you don't want to work with this one. Maybe you want to work in the gray area. Get samples sent to you. You can get them from us for free in the shop. Just go to Planeo. Choose a decor under vinyl depending on which direction you want to go. And if you say, I'm still not sure what I should do and which products I should choose, get in touch with us, write to us. We'll help you with your products, the right decor, the right quality, and especially the right price. We'll definitely find what you need for your projects. The result is great. I hope you like it. Thumbs up. We'll see each other with more actions, with more videos on these topics. Until then, bye.